Hi. Also, I thought that my microphone was like off again, and I was about to make a weird sound. Thankfully, I did not do that again because it would be something like a broken toaster. Hi. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and welcome to this week's true crime stream. If you're new here, I'm FEARSONA. You can call me Fear, Sona, or Red, and I'm your friendly neighborhood true crime VTuber, here to give you full body chills. Yes! Nailed that intro. Finally. But I can see quite a few new faces. Wait, Vamp Sister. Oh, nice. Oh, that's a pretty cool username. But hi, thank you so much for joining today. I see some obviously like familiar faces: Lost Nemesis, Desert Lightning, Kevin, Nezuko. I love your name. I still love that name. Also Kevin, the Forgotten Tiger. Who knows? But I do see a lot of new faces. Nice. Okay. But welcome. I hope you guys will like this stream. I cover true crime cases, some solved, some unsolved. And this week, well, last week I started kind of shifting back to Poland, or rather shifting to Poland, to true crime cases in Poland, because I was covering US cases in my US series, so a case per state. But I'm just trying something new, and I'm trying to, kind of take a break from the US. I honestly thought it was the hub of true crime cases, of true crime and unsolved stories, and yet here we are. I honestly don't know. Like, when I started looking into cases from Poland, I've been looking into cases. I've been choosing cases for the upcoming weeks, and I started wondering, man, is Poland the worst country I've ever been to? Like, not been to. I was born in Poland, so is Poland actually the worst shithole? Am I shooting myself in the foot? Just trying to, diving into this can of worms, or opening this can of worms. Wait, too lazy to pull your chin. Sounds about right. I'm so glad that I finally made it to a stream. Nice, Kea. Thank you so much for making it into the stream. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Is it Kea? Oh god, I'm sorry. If I did, I probably will butcher it like a certain individual in this stream. I shouldn't. That sounded bad, but there's gonna be some dark humor. Sounds like this one is gonna be a trip. Yes, it is. If you ever wondered if, human skin can be made into a bodysuit, well, you're gonna find out in this case. That's not gonna be nice. That's not gonna be very pleasant, but obviously there's more to this story than just the human skin suit. And hi, Osamu. Nice. Okay, I can see quite a few people. PJ is here. Awesome. Ice Dragon. Hello. And Ian. Nice. Oh, okay. You made it just in time. I'm just opening the stream. Well, I mean, it's a short intro. Okay. Before I dive into the case, just a few announcements. So tomorrow I've got my flight back to Taiwan. I am coming back home. And, well, that's gonna be a long flight. That's gonna be 24 hours. And then I go into quarantine. Hopefully I can, during my quarantine, I'm gonna do more streams. So we will get to hang out a little bit more than last week. Obviously, I had a lot of things on my plate, but I am coming back. Human mask and now human suit. Damn. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, that's the kind of case that you can expect. But yeah, so I might be struggling with a jet lag. Like, when I finally get to Taiwan, I'm probably gonna like pass out. So you might not hear from me tomorrow, and maybe on Tuesday I will try my best to maybe stream something, something lax on Wednesday, some game, something like that, or Thursday. But that's pretty much it. And if you like this content, if you like my streams, obviously wait for this stream to end, stick around. so that you can judge whether or not you like the format and you would like to hang out with me a little bit more, I do have a Patreon page. And the base perk is basically getting access to weekly bonus true crime streams. So if you join my Patreon, even on the $5 tier, you will get access to a library of streams and cases that I've already covered, and those are not available on YouTube, as well as you will get access to weekly bonus true crime streams. Which means, hey, I will get to see you, more often, and we will get to chat, because here on YouTube, I might not be able to, I'm not gonna be able to respond to all the messages. So, it's a more tight-knit community there. It's a Patreon angry mob. It's a little bit smaller, so obviously I'm chatting with the live chat a little bit more. Okay, so now, without further ado, let me switch to my murder board and let's go. So, wait, okay. Today, I have another case from Poland that I would like to discuss with you. A case from the late 90s, which started as a missing persons case. And it had an unexpected plot twist, which turned the story into a homicide investigation that everyone in Poland followed, holding their breath and hoping that the killer will be caught. And after many, many years, they did catch someone. So the police did get someone. They did find the possible culprit. And yet, the case is still not entirely solved and definitely not closed. And I will explain why. This is the story of Katarzyna Zowada, which is also known as the skin murder. Okay, so as always, I would like to focus on the victim's background first. And, on the victim as a person beyond this tragedy, beyond what happened to her. Because Kasia had a life and she was so much more than, than this crime, than how her life ended. Oh, okay, wait. Fallout just donated. Thank you so much for the donation. Damn. Okay, so 23-year-old Katarzyna Zowada, and she was called Kasia by her family and friends. She was a young, bright woman who in 1998 enrolled in one of the famous, or most famous, Polish schools, Polish universities, the Jagiellonian University, located in Kraków, where she chose to study, at first, well, that's a little bit complicated, but she basically chose to study religious studies in the end, which is an academic field focused on research into a variety of religious beliefs, behaviors, and institutions. Kasia was curious about all forms of faith, not only Christianity, but other religions as well. She wanted to immerse herself into interpreting and explaining religion as a phenomenon, dive into the cultural perspectives on faith. Katarzyna's friends would often describe her as a nice, kind, but also shy and withdrawn person. Not many people knew this about Kasia, but she was struggling with depression after the death of her father back in 1996. And her friends later said that during that time, she actually ended up changing her major twice, so she wasn't yet on the path that she wanted to walk in her life. Also because, she was going through a personal tragedy. She just lost her father, and she was going through some mental struggles. So first she chose psychology, and then she changed it to history studies, and eventually she settled for religious studies. Some of her family members said that, it seemed like she, after the loss of her father, like she wanted to maybe understand what's beyond, understand where her father's soul was, or how to explain it, how to deal with grief. And then a few weeks before her disappearance, she stopped attending classes altogether, while keeping it a secret from her family, as it turned out later. So she wasn't saying anything to the family. They thought that she was still studying, that she was attending classes, everything was good. But she was actually struggling. So on November 12th, 1998, Kasia was supposed to meet her mother at the psychiatric clinic in Nowa Huta. And this was the institution where she had been getting treated for her depression. So she was just seeing a doctor. Obviously, like, that's completely normal. If you are struggling with mental health, this is the good way to go about it, to seek help. And that's exactly what she was doing. Like, she wasn't just leaving it to just struggle in silence. Like, she was actually getting help. But the problem is, she never showed up to that appointment, or rather, she never showed up to the appointment with her mom, and her mom couldn't really get in touch with her. She even attempted to file a missing persons report at the local police station on the same day, but the officer taking the report told her to basically wait. I think it was, I'm not entirely sure why, but I think it was the kind of classic misguided way of just telling the family member, hey, just wait 24 hours, or you have to wait 24 hours, you have to wait 48 hours to report someone missing, which, as we know now, like, now it is not the case. Like, you don't have to wait that long. Like, if you believe someone is missing, you can report them missing pretty much immediately. You don't have to wait. Also, why is my model so weird? Okay, there was a movie called Silence of the Lamb. So this is kind of like, this case is considered the Silence of the Lamb's Polish edition, sort of. Lost Nemesis. This part of Sona, the person before the victim, is wonderful. It's a great thing. I mean, I do like to discuss the background of the victim, like, it's because they are a person first. They are not a victim only. Like, yes, something like that happened to them, but there was a whole life before this tragedy or whatever happened to them. I've always hated those kinds of rules. Yeah, that's a pretty useless rule, like, because you never know. Yes, there are obviously those cases in which, a teenager ran away from home. Fine, I get it. There are those cases, but I feel like there's so many stories in which, like, the police just kind of dismissed it, and they were like, oh, wait 24 hours, they probably just ran away from home, or they are partying, they just, like, lost track of time, whatever. And it just turned out it was completely not the case, and the person was in serious trouble. Okay, so as I said, like, the officer basically told the mom to wait, told her that Kasia was, she's young, she's 23, she probably just went out with friends, she, again, lost track of time, and she would just come around eventually. But her mom did not believe it for a moment, and instead, she pretty much, like, right away, she hired a private investigator. She was like, okay, my daughter, she is struggling with mental health, yes, but I am very, very worried, and the police doesn't want to do anything. I'm gonna hire my own investigator, my own detective. Because she was afraid that, in her state, she could have done something reckless, she could have hurt herself. I don't know, obviously, like, she wanted her back home. But the search was unsuccessful until 2 months later. So on January 6th, 1999, nearly 2 months after Katarzyna Zowada went missing, there was an unexpected gruesome discovery at the shore of Vistula River. The crew of the Elk, or Łoś, well, in Polish it's Łoś, in English it's elk. It was a type of towboat, I guess, or pusher tug. They encountered some issues with the boat's engine and the propeller, but when they examined the part, they found something completely shocking. They did not know what to make of it because, you know, none of them expected to find it. They pulled upper body human skin out of the engine. The police later was called and they examined the finding and conducted a DNA test the following day, which actually revealed that the skin belonged to none other but the missing girl, Katarzyna. So this is actually not the actual skin. This is the 3D reconstruction or model, 3D modeling, reconstruction, and obviously the sketch of the skin of how it looked like, you know. And here you have the leg because I'm gonna explain why. But at first it was assumed that the body must have been floating in the river, like basically she drowned. And then, you know, she simply got entangled and destroyed by the passing boat. But upon further examination, a much darker story came to light because the medical examiner determined that the skin was removed intentionally before the body was discarded or, you know, dropped into the river. And the victim's limbs and head were severed before, you know, again, before the body ended up in the river. Later, Katarzyna's right leg was also found floating in the river on January 14th. So we have the upper body skin and then we have the right leg. And you know what the worst part of this story is? The worst part was that the killer skinned Kasia in such a precise way, or in such a, I don't know, precise, very, very intentional way, that the skin created a bodysuit which the police believes the killer was wearing for a while. So he possibly wore it. Like that's the, you know, that was his intention. There were at least 2 persons of interest in the case back in 1999, but both of them were soon ruled out, and Katarzyna's case was slowly going cold. Also, yeah, I completely forgot about the disclaimer and about a warning, but yeah, the description, you know, there's a graphic description in this case. Please, if you are sensitive to the content, it's a little bit late for that. But you know, if you're sensitive to such content, please click away. This is the time, even though you know, the damage is done. Like figuratively and literally, the damage is done. Okay, Dale, how did the rest of the body look like? Just muscle? See, they didn't find the torso. That's the thing. Like, they only found the skin, like literally the skin, and then they found the leg. So they didn't find anything else. To this day, like, there's nothing else. And Lost Nemesis. Yeah, I'm surprised people did not pick up on this. I knew it was going to be horrible, but yeah, if you're not comfortable with this should be your exit. There was an 18+ warning. Okay, so the Tyrant did send a warning, you know, before the case started, but I am just saying this is gonna be gruesome. And Gilberto says, Jesus, what did I just walk in on? Hi, Sona, by the way. Hello. Yeah, you know, fair warning. This is pretty gruesome. But again, this is not the actual skin on the screen. This is the reconstruction. So, you know, don't be too grossed out. This is obviously just like some synthetic material to kind of stage what it looked like. Okay. So, as I said, the case was slowly going cold. Like, one of the suspects, if I remember correctly, like, he murdered someone else. He murdered his father in the village close to Krakow. And then he cut off his father's face, and I believe he skinned the face, and he was wearing the mask. But then again, like, this person was not, like, yes, the police had him on the radar. Obviously, he was locked up. They were investigating, this suspect as the possible suspect in Katarzyna's case, but it ended up not being connected. So obviously, they did not charge him with Kasia's murder. And although the police did discover DNA material on the body that did not belong to the victim, none of the suspects or persons of interest matched the DNA profile, in the sample. In 2001, the investigation was formally dropped due to lack of suspects and sufficient evidence to continue with the case, in public. However, the detectives and officers directly involved in the case still continued investigating credible leads. So it's not like, yes, it was officially dropped, like formally it was dropped, it was closed as unsolved. Oh well, we don't have enough evidence. But if there was a new lead, obviously the officers, the detectives, they were still allowed to look into it and reopen the case possibly. And then, so in 2012, the years were passing by without any progress on the case, which was eventually passed to X-Files cold case unit in Krakow, which is very well known in Poland. Like the previous cases from Poland that I covered, they also mention the X-Files, or as it's said in Poland, or as it's called in Poland, in Polish, Archiwum X. And in 2012, there was a new lead, thanks to advances in the forensic research field, which helped resume the investigation and led to exhumation of Katarzyna's remains for an additional autopsy. So again, it's like all those years later, they exhume Kasia again, or the remains, to re-examine them. When they do, they found traces of some unidentified plants and organic fibers, and experts said that those did not belong to a plant or any flora growing in the water or any, body of water, which meant that this murder was not committed by the river. Basically, those plants, their usual environment is not located near the river, and the experts said, okay, this means that this body was definitely moved. Kasia was not murdered anywhere near the river, and the killer must have brought the body from a different location where the murder actually had happened. Later, experts from the 3D expertise laboratory at the Wrocław Medical University recreated that model that I showed you, so basically model of the victim's injuries, and this showed that the killer used a sharp tool to cut the victim's neck, armpit, and groin. Oh Jesus, I don't know why I pronounced it that way, but neck, armpit, and groin, in order to inflict tremendous amount of pain and for her to bleed to death. Again, very gruesome content. If you're sensitive to this kind of content, click away, because I've said what I said, but it's gonna be gruesome. Which means that Kasia was, tortured for a long time before she died. And later, professor from the University of, Coimbra, which was Professor Duarte Nuno Vieira, was consulted regarding the case. He is a forensic expert, and expert and profiler, and he confirmed the part about torture, as well as said that the attacker, the killer, was likely trained in martial arts, or he was, possibly interested in very intense physical training, specifically one particular yet undisclosed variation of martial arts, and this information was not released to the public. Okay, so in order to know more about the murder and the attacker, the investigators needed more material, and they needed the rest of Kasia's body, which was still missing. In October 2016, a team of police scuba divers were engaged in an extensive search at the bottom of Vistula River, hoping to come through the area from the Vavel, I don't know how to pronounce it in English, but Vavel Castle, up to Dombia section where the skin and leg were found. So it was a pretty big section of the river. But unfortunately, the search was not successful. Like, they did not find anything so far. It's still just the skin and the leg. And I think there were pieces of the clothing that she was wearing on the day when she disappeared. But it was just like fragments. It's not like, yeah, like there wasn't much. So there are, a few theories and definitely, well, not theories, but there's a few things about the killer and his profile. Wait, why did I do that? So let's go back to this profile. So the killer was likely skilled in cutting of flesh, which could indicate that his occupation was either that of a medical professional, medical doctor, or a butcher. On the other hand, he could also be extremely fascinated with brutal films like Silence of the Lambs and the character of Buffalo Bill, which, the police definitely considered. They were like, okay, is he an actual medical professional, or is he just, a fanatic or, enthusiast of very gruesome gore content? Okay, and he chose his victims very, very carefully. So a young woman, student, shy, withdrawn, struggling with depression, which means vulnerable. The police considered the possibility of more than one person taking part in this murder. A variety of theories and scenarios were explored, including one, even including one where Kasia actually died in an accident or committed suicide before this person found the body and ended up mutilating it. Which sounds crazy, but they actually seriously explored it because, they were considering her mental state. I suppose. So why would they think that Kasia died out of her own decision? They were considering the fact that she was depressed. But there was also something more that, kind of pointed at the possibility that Kasia was actually dead before the mutilation happened, or, before this person got to her body and severed it. So turns out that medical examiners found very specific stretch marks on her skin and leg, which could happen in three scenarios as they claimed. Obviously, this is not an opinion of that many experts. It was just an opinion of the experts on this case. So they might be wrong, but this is what they said. So basically, these stretch marks, or this type of stretch marks, could have happened in these three scenarios. One, as a result of a fall from a high place, which means, I don't know, maybe she threw herself off a bridge. That's how she wanted to commit suicide, and then, I don't know, or a high place. Two, as a result of a car accident where the vehicle accelerated to the speed of 80 kilometers per hour. So, I don't know, maybe she was in a car, maybe she had a car accident, but this is kind of weird because it must have been someone else's car. I don't think she had a car. At least no one mentions anything about her having a car, so it's kind of weird. Okay, let me read some of the chats. Dale, it's like he went through multiple villain acts just to train for doing this. Yeah, and they definitely, this is pretty much his profile. This is a profile of a very, very disturbed person and very, brutal person, and definitely not someone who, this was not a crime of passion. This must have been premeditated. But I'm gonna explain it more in a second. Okay, Lost Nemesis. Did they have any idea of the time of death? Because I want to know if the mutilation started happening when she was alive, or was it a quick kill and then get out the desires? That is a good question. I think what they said was that the murder likely happened on August 17th. Wait, was that am I getting it wrong? No, sorry. November 12th, around the time when she was supposed to meet with her mom, so 6 p.m. This was like the assumed time of the death, or, you know, around that time when she didn't show to the meeting. But see, this is where the sources kind of, you know, vary, because some sources say that, okay, he killed her, he let her bleed out, then she died, and then he mutilated, like he skinned her body. On the other hand, other sources say that she was skinned alive, which means, okay, like he not only cut her skin, he didn't let her bleed out, like he was actually skinning her when she was like still alive, and he was like dismembering her when she was still alive. But, you know, there are different sources, and I honestly am not sure. And it doesn't seem like there's more information about it. Some of the information are still kept a secret for the investigation, because the case is still ongoing, and I'm gonna, you know, I did say that they kind of actually caught someone, but the case is definitely not over yet. I remember somewhere that there were rumors she started seeing someone, but because of her withdrawn nature, she didn't even tell her mom if it was true. Yes, Dorothy. So that's a good comment. So yeah, Kasia was actually a fan of, I guess, vinyls, like the, you know, the albums, the music albums, the old school type. And she was a regular visitor at this like music shop. From what I remember, like there was a theory that she actually did meet someone at the music shop, and she was talking to someone there. But it didn't really go anywhere because of her nature, because of like what she was going through. And I didn't have more information about it, but yeah, like this was one of the theories, like, oh, okay, there was someone in this store that she was frequently visiting. So they are connecting, okay, this must have been the killer because there's no one else. So maybe she knew, you know, she knew the killer beforehand, and I'm gonna get to that too. So as I said, the medical examiners said that there could be this whole other explanation, that she died before she was even found by the perpetrator. One, as a result of a fall from a high place. Two, as a result of a car accident. Again, not really explaining like why, how, whose car was it. Maybe the mystery guy that she was meeting, who knows. And three, as a result of getting shot in the mouth. You know, whatever that means, but yeah, you know, somehow the stretch marks happened on her skin in a way that would indicate that, oh, she was shot in the mouth. But then I don't know, like this one, the last one doesn't really make sense. I didn't see any follow-up on this theory, or like any information if they explored it, if they were like looking for a weapon, if they had any basis to think that, okay, there was something to indicate that she shot herself. But on the flip side, Katarzyna's family strongly condemned the theory of her doing this to herself first, and her body getting mutilated by, I don't know, like unlucky coincidence. They obviously, yes, they were concerned about her health, you know, the mental health. They thought that, okay, yeah, she might have been depressed and capable of doing something. Maybe, like, they were worried, but they didn't think it would be that drastic. Like, she wasn't capable of doing something like this. And in the end, even the police considered this theory, or, you know, this kind of turn of events as a secondary scenario to a premeditated murder. Okay, let me just read some of the chats. A true evil name. What? Long story short. Sarah. Girl Dad died, got depressed, went missing. Mom asked private investigators. Skin found months later in the river. Yep, pretty much. The summary. She got shot in the mouth. Oh my god. Yeah, see, they didn't really explain it further. So I'm entirely not sure about this one. Like, as I said, this was like completely secondary later on. Honestly, poor girl. She went through this and this happened to her. Yeah, definitely. That's why I wanted to tell you guys like the background, like what she was going through, not like immediately jump into the murder, because she was going through a lot and she was still kind of trying to, you know, find an explanation of why is this happening, like what happened to her dad. She was trying to grieve. She was trying to maybe learn something out of that grief. And then this thing happens. And then we get to the suspect. 19 years after the murder, on October 4th, 2017, police arrested 52-year-old, or at the time, 52-year-old Robert Janczewski in Kraków. At the time of his arrest, investigators searched his apartment and found blood in the bathroom. The area was secured for testing, but this, again, the results were never released to the public, so I don't know. Obviously, this wasn't, you know, after all those years, this definitely wasn't, you know, Kasia's blood, but it could have been another victim, which so far I didn't see any information about, like whether, you know, what kind of victim, whether it was a human blood or something else. The X-Files unit investigators did consider Robert a person of interest back in 1999, but back then, I don't know what happened. They didn't have enough evidence to go through with the arrest, or they didn't have any evidence at the time because, you know, obviously 90s forensic studies or forensic field was not as advanced. It wasn't very helpful. Like it couldn't tell you much. But if you look at the profile of this person, of Robert, he fit the psychological profile of the killer in Katarzyna's case because he was trained in martial arts. He served in the military before, and he had a history of harassing women before, you know, like in his history, like throughout those 19 years. Moreover, he had previously worked in a dissecting lab. So he had also access to, you know, to human corpses, to human remains. He did have access to that. He dealt with human remains before. He was trained in martial arts. He was considered by his friends, by his neighbors, he was considered a strange individual or suspicious. He also used to work, he used to work at Kraków Institute of Zoology, where he could observe the process of preparing animal skins. So he was no stranger to skinning a living creature. I'm just baffled, like how, I guess at the time he didn't, I don't know. I'm honestly not sure why they didn't do anything about him back in 1999. Maybe Katarzyna's murder was like the first one that he committed, and then he went on to work at a dissecting lab. Maybe he went on to, you know, the Institute of Zoology, where he was like, yeah, like he was basically participating in observing the skinning of animals. I honestly couldn't tell you. But what's interesting about that job in, you know, at the Institute of Zoology, it was that his contract with the Institute was terminated after an incident in which he had killed all of the Institute's rabbits during his shift. And when his employer asked about the reason for this behavior, like why did he do this, he could not actually explain why he had done so. So, yeah, fucked up. What? Why? What? No, please lock him up. So the police also discovered that he had previously visited Katarzyna's grave. And you don't do that unless you have some, I don't know. Yeah, like if you match the killer's profile and you also visited the, Katarzyna's, the victim's grave, there is something like that, which this could mean that he knew her before the murder. And actually there is a speculation that he was the one that she was meeting in the, like the vinyl store or the music store, where she was searching for the albums. And, this was the mystery guy. This was the person. One of Robert's friends sent a letter to the police regarding Robert and the possible murder charges, although the contents of the letter were never revealed to the public, or so far they were not revealed to the public and remain a secret of the investigation. Robert was charged with aggravated murder with particular cruelty, although he basically maintains no knowledge of the murder or the victim. So he's saying, I did not know this girl. This is a coincidence. I have nothing to do with it. And while the trial is still ongoing, so far, as of 2022, Robert has not been sentenced for Katarzyna's murder. He remains in custody. So thank God for that. He was assessed as, by a psychiatrist as, particularly dangerous. Like he could be a danger to someone, to other people, obviously not to himself, but like to other people. So he is in custody. Unfortunately, it seems that the trial will not be made public, or at least it wasn't made public. And at this point, we can only wait for the final sentence. So far, there's nothing. But there's still a question. Did Robert have an accomplice? Because the police kind of believes that there could have been more than one person. Like he couldn't have done it alone to this extent. And the investigators haven't ruled it out. And even Robert's involvement is still a big question mark, at least until the police decides to release all the evidence and details they have gathered ever since the arrest. All they said was that they have uncovered new evidence, which means, hey, this means that this could be the guy. This likely is the guy, but it's still unsolved. And yeah, as for now, all we can do is wait for the trial to be over and to hear the sentence and hear all the details, in public, just see the details in public, when the investigators release it. Is he in jail or a psy ward? Okay, so that's, I'm honestly not sure. All the sources said was that he is in confinement. Like he is, obviously not walking free. He is in custody. So I can assume that he's in arrest, like he's arrested, he's in prison, but I'm not sure. Like if he was evaluated by the psychiatrist, it could be. I don't think he pled insanity or anything like that. So I would assume he is in prison. As for now, thank God. Well, we'll see. I finally made it to a stream. Hi, but this case is over. I've just finished. Really? Trial ongoing? Yes. Mario still trial ongoing. I was checking any news about it, but so far it's still they are still, this is not a public trial. Nothing is gonna be released until the sentencing and until the whole story is over. Maybe because they do suspect that there are more than one. There were more than one person, and it wasn't only Robert. It was like someone, he had an accomplice. Maybe that's why they are trying to catch the other person too. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just speculating. He's a man of evil. Well, innocent until proven guilty. Yes, but honestly, a lot of the evidence is pointing at his guilt. So, it seems like they've got the guy. Honestly, I really like this case. Ah, okay. Very, very sad case, very gruesome. I apologize for the late warning. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this case. And before we finish, I just wanted to, you know, thank you guys. Thank you to all of my Patreons, everyone who supports my channel financially, and all of you who, you know, who are here, everyone who is watching. Thank you so much. But especially thank you to my Patreons. Let me just read it out. Oh god, I can't speak. Colonel Turtle, Tyrant Kitsune, Zinc Scholastica, CW, Esau Winrostro, Rudel Genoodle, IDK Bacon 53, Jacob Ian, Holmes's Apprentice, Nonan, Emmanuel Cadet, Windstorm 555, Ian, RJ, Connor Campbell. Oh god, this name. Okay, Chris, KFP, Feather, Comber, Guac. Please. This is killing me. Mr. Ridgway, Bubak, Kronos, Hex Gengar, Beverly, Eric, Leonovsky, Grace Singer, Brandon S, Kanta the Tang, Rai Oki, Racer 7331. Oh god, why is Alpaca here? Alpaca was not there anymore. Sorry. But thank you. They were supporting my channel before. Rune S, Christopher McCanns, Cav, Anwen, I think. I'm sorry. DMJ 2004, Andromeda Sky, Dale Angiano, Chris, Hopeful Space Pitaco, great name, Kai Masamune, Kyo, too ecchi for you. Why? Oh no, wait, that wasn't here. Why? I should have like you know, updated this list. Damn. Marshmallow Bunny, Momizimajo, Bloop, Bright Slap, Bryce Needham, Evan Mayers, Game Leader, Lost Nemesis, Rickram 8, Pistol Disco, AC the Slayer, question mark? Okay, IJN, HIEIBB. Okay, great. And Jesus Vasquez, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I should have updated this list more. Man, I sometimes like save the file and I thought, oh yeah, this is the updated list. And then I'm just like, nope, it is not. But yeah, okay, so let me switch back to the chat. Rudolph says, soon we will need an entire separate stream to read the Patreon names. Yeah, honestly, next time I'm just gonna, I do want to read it out, but the list is getting long, so just so you guys know, I'm very, very grateful. Obviously, if you are not... Why? Did I just burp? Like, oh my lord. Excuse me. Okay, so as I said, if you are not in the financial position to join Patreon, please do not. Please don't do this. Like, you know, there are streams here. I do weekly true crime cases here. Yes, obviously on Patreon there's additional ones. There's hangouts. There's you know, Discord special VIP role, and I'm hanging out in the chat. There's like some perks, but if you are not in the financial position to subscribe, do not. Only if you want to, only if you know that you can. And to all of you guys who support my channel, you know, on Patreon, thank you so much. I always say that, but I'm very grateful, and you know, it really helps power this channel. It really helps, you know, helps me with the advertising, because that money goes to basically YouTube ads and I can grow the channel. And Alpaca My Bags is still a great name. It is. It's the best. Off topic, but related to you, I can't wait for the karaoke stream. Oh my god, yeah, this is gonna happen. That is happening. I promised, I made some promises. I have reached, I've hit 10,000 subscribers, and I promised that when I hit 10k, I'm gonna do a karaoke stream. That's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen during my quarantine at the hotel. Possibly. Possibly I might do it during my quarantine, so we'll see. I'm gonna decide, depending on the internet connection, obviously. But what accent was that, Fear? It wasn't Polish. I don't know. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm tired. I'm tired, man. It's like midnight here. Yes, that is a good name. Yes, she did. Oh yeah, I've made some promises. Sorry, I can't give you money, Fear. No worries. Hey, no worries. As I said, like, this is already a big help. Like, if you like my streams, if you like the format, please take a second to, you know, to like the video, to click that like button, because that also helps a lot with the algorithm, you know, helps push my channel a little bit more. So please do like the video, obviously, if you liked the content. Okay, Dorothy, that bit about the one suspect actually committing an unrelated murder reminds me of the episode of Monk where his paper delivery guy got murdered, and so he's solving all the crimes in the paper. Oh, I have not watched that. I mean, I know the series, the Monk. I do know that, but I didn't know that episode. Interesting. I should look it up. It's 10K, Red. I know it is. I'm gonna do it. I promise I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna, like, you know, when I get to the hotel, I'm gonna just kind of check what's the connection, if it's fast enough. If it is, we're doing this. I'm gonna do it during the quarantine, and people in the hotel might hate me because I'm gonna be singing. How's your summer doing? Are you on fire right now? Well, I mean, is it summer? In Poland, it's like 10 degrees. Hardly summer, but I'm doing okay. I'm going back home. You know, I'm gonna see my doggo. Gonna see my family, and I'm pretty, you know, happy about that. Okay, you know, just like it, share it, print a QR code and tape it all over your city. Maybe hire a blimp to spread the message. The usual. Yes, please spread the message of the angry mob, you know, in your town. Why in quarantine? Because Taiwan has pretty strict rules, so I had to. I actually did a PCR test today. I had to do a COVID test this morning, and I had to, obviously, like, I needed a negative result. I just told the nurse who was taking my the mucus. I was like, please just make it a negative result on the guy. and they're like, he's like, ma'am, that's not something I have the, you know, control over. But yeah, the Taiwan has pretty strict rules. Essentially, since there was an outbreak lately, I do have to have a quarantine for like 10 days. But yeah, maybe the karaoke stream, the singing stream is gonna happen during my quarantine. We all need an angry mob, and we love angry mob. Yes. And I should really start. I wanted to do a series with, like, cases with angry mob. So basically any true crime cases where angry mob just, like, kind of, I don't know, solved the case or punished someone, or I don't know. But wait. Oakscape, hi, this is the end of the stream, but thank you so much for tuning in. Has Taiwan been given the vaccine? Yes, I have. I've had 3 doses, I think. I've already had 3 doses, but Taiwan is pretty strict about COVID rules. You know, they've been taking it very, very seriously, and yes, they are strict when it comes to travel. Like, it's only very strict when it comes to travel. But in Taiwan, if you're in Taiwan already, like, it's not as strict. It's just the masks. Like, if you go, you can go to a restaurant, you can go everywhere. It's just that you know, you have to wear a mask inside. Like, not even outside. Like, outside it's fine, but inside, yeah, you have to wear a mask. I think maybe now outside as well, maybe excluding the parks. But yeah, you know, it's pretty strict when it comes to travel. Okay. Do you like to watch mystery crime shows like Scooby-Doo, Death Note, and Detective Conan? Yes, I have seen. Obviously, Scooby-Doo is my childhood cartoon. It was great. Death Note, yeah, I've seen it all. Detective Conan, I haven't seen everything. Like, I've seen some. I should watch it. I should definitely, like, watch it more because it was interesting. Like, I've seen a couple of episodes, and it was definitely interesting. Something in my you know, in my field of, or in my area of interest. Understandable. All hail the angry mob. Yes. Oh my god, it's like all hail the watcher, but all hail the angry mob. I should make a t-shirt design like that. I have one of an angry mob killing a horrible person. Was it Kenrex McElroy? Yeah, I've covered that one. I covered it on Patreon. So if you're interested, I have covered this case where angry mob just killed someone very, very horrible. You know, and it was we had fun with that one. Good evening, everyone. Dobry wieczór wszystkim. Ah, dobry wieczór. Yeah. Oh, that's Levi. Okay. That's I believe that's another VTuber, right? I saw you on Twitter. Nice. Thank you so much for tuning in. Detective Conan, I was going to read the manga and oh my god, I got scared because that's way too many chapters. Oh yeah. It's pretty long. It's pretty long. I just opted for like episodes. It's fine. The anime. Love that you watched Scooby-Doo. Wait, I saw it. Scooby-Doo. That was also my childhood. Yeah, right? Bryce. Hey, my man. Or my person. Yeah, but it's definitely my childhood. Here, do you have any plans on making Angry Mobs merch? Definitely. Absolutely. Like, I am planning to open merch store this summer. Obviously, it's not ready yet, but I am planning to open the official merch store this summer, and likely Patreons are gonna have early access to the merch, and then everyone else. So yeah, you can look forward to that. And there's gonna be some Angry Mob stuff. Definitely some Angry Mob stuff. I want to watch the Patreon streams, but have no money. That's okay. You know, there's plenty of true crime streams here. So don't worry about it. Obviously, not required. There's a lot of cases, a lot of interesting cases that I've already covered. So you can definitely find something interesting to listen to. Okay, but that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in, for listening. And you know, stay safe out there. Always lock your doors and windows. Hide your axes, bury your axes. Squirrels are dicks. Beefaloes are dicks. And don't wear human skin suit. Don't make human skin suits because you know, that's not very nice. That's for one. 2, that's illegal. And 3, you're gonna go to prison. But that's about it. Until the next time. Bye.